$39.31.56. The lowest prices of the season sale is going on now at GNC, but hurry, it won't last long. Save up to 50% on top brands like Nugenix, Gin, Cellucor, Force Factor, and GNC Amp. They're all at the lowest prices of the season. Train well. Sleep
We'll
well.
see you where we saw you
Live well.
last week.
GNC has hundreds of your favorite items up for 50% off. Hurry at GNC for the lowest prices.
We're at the Berkshire Athenaeum. Day 3 of research. But today is the first day I'm recording. It's time to enter the library.
Hey guys, it's Finley here, and today I'm going to be going over Joseph Tucker, along with a school named after him, and how I found the information about him. Joseph Tucker's School was a school erected in 1888, built on Linden Street, and was originally called Linden Street School. It had 13 classrooms, with more getting added on with time, and it hosted classes from kindergarten up to 6th grade. The school's principal in the 1950s was James A. Conroy. The school supported opportunity, sewing, and cooking classes, and most likely others as well. Weirdly enough, Joseph Tucker School seems to have disappeared from Pittsfield, but the man who it was named after will never be forgotten. There were many reasons for the renaming of Linden Street School to Joseph Tucker School. The city of Pittsfield didn't exactly specify any, but it can be assumed that they were due to Joseph Tucker's roots in Berkshire County, along with his devotion to the law, his country, and his community. But let's just take a second real quick to focus on me. Now, I didn't have all this information to start. It took quite a while to gather all this info. So, why don't you look at what's on the screen right now? For this project, I went to the library every single Monday. For a few months, that is. And while I was there, had to look through a catalog. All of the books, including Joseph Tucker's name in it. Seems like a lot of work, but it is. But work is work. And as soon as I was done looking through the catalog, I would get whatever book I need to find, and then put it in the copier. But the copier won't work without, well, money. So I would put money into the copier, and use it to get my copies. And with these copies, I would use these for scaffolding when I eventually wrote my paper. Now, let's get back on track with the Tuckers. You may be wondering what I meant by his roots in the country. The Tuckers, that is. Well, the reason why is because 4 generations of Tuckers have all lived in Berkshire County. But to talk about all of them, that would just be tiring. So, we're just going to be talking about his father, along with the man himself. George Joseph Tucker was born in Lenox on October 17, 1804, and married Eunice Sylvia Cook on September 29, 1829. However, after her unfortunate passing, he remarried to Harriet Still at a later date on August 5, 1845. George Joseph Tucker attended Lenox Academy and graduated from Williams College in between 1822 and 1825. It kind of varies between sources. But George Tucker studied law under the Honorable William P. Walker in Lenox at Litchfield Law School after graduating from Williams College. He then became a lawyer, and in 1847, he was chosen for county treasurer, and in September 1847 was chosen for Register of Deeds. He held both offices until his death, except for Register of Deeds. This was due to, for 3 to 6 years, the law forbidding anyone from being both county treasurer and Register of Deeds at the same time. Now, one of the children of George Joseph Tucker's second marriage was Joseph H. Tucker. Joseph Tucker himself was born in Lenox, August 31st, 1832, into his father's home, which, interestingly enough, used to belong to the first postmaster of Lenox, Elia Brewer. And, like his father, he attended Lenox Academy. However, unlike his father, he went to Alexander Hyde School, also known plainly as Hyde School. However, once again, akin to his father, when it was 1848, he eventually went to Williams College, and after graduating in 1851, and began his study of law at the Pittsfield law firm, Rockwell and Colt, with the firm's members being Judge Julius Rockwell and Judge Colt. In 1858, he attended lectures at Harvard Law School and was admitted to the Berkshire Bar Association. He eventually began his practice of law in Detroit, and in 1854, he opened a law office at St. Louis, which was quite successful. But in 1859, he returned to Berkshire County, as his health was impaired by the western climate. He intended to return to St. Louis, but in the meantime, he took up practice of his profession in Great Barrington in 1860. Joseph Tucker had mapped out his career to be, well, devoted to the law. But the outbreak of the rebellion before the Civil War in America changed all of that. In 1862, Joseph Tucker signed the rolls and became a member of the 49th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry. And at that point, Joseph Tucker was selected as the #1 lieutenant of COD, Company D, and was detailed for duty as an acting assistant adjutant general until the regiment reached Louisiana. Once they arrived, Lieutenant Tucker was assigned to the staff of General Chapin as one of his aides-de-camp, and accepted. And once Tucker's regiment reached Baton Rouge on May 19, 1863, the regiment advanced to Port Hudson, and on the 21st, the Battle of Plain Store occurred. At Port Hudson at 2 o'clock, the 116th NYV made a route charge and killed and wounded many. They took 100 prisoners from the enemy. 13 were killed on the 116th NYV's side, and 2 were wounded on the 49th Regiment side. The next day, the rebel side surrendered. Colonel Miles was dead. Lieutenant Tucker's position was near the brigade flag, which was a target for a shower of bombshells. A fragment of a bombshell struck Tucker in his right leg, inflicting a wound so severe that his leg had to be amputated. That was the end of Joseph Tucker's involvement with the war. After Joseph recovered from his injury, he was appointed by Governor Andrew to act as superintendent of recruiting in Berkshires. At the end of the war, Joseph H. resumed his law practice in Great Barrington in 1865 and was chosen to represent his district in the House of Representatives. In 1866 and 1867, he was senator from South Berkshire District, and in 1868 was appointed by Chief Justice Chase, Register and Bankruptcy, for the 11th Congressional District. In that same year, he was elected Lieutenant Governor for the term beginning in January 1st, 1869, and was continued in this office until 1873. Upon his retirement, Governor Washburn appointed him Judge of the District Court of Central Berkshire, and this was the moment Joseph Tucker decided to live in Pittsfield, and the moment he became known as Judge Joseph Tucker. Joseph Tucker was devoted to his job as a judge, and as a judge, he was sincere and very strict regarding justice, yet he had a merciful side. Joseph was well equipped with knowledge of the law and was a very just judge. While in Pittsfield, Judge Tucker took deep interest in the town's affairs, being an influential speaker before town meetings. As a judge, Joseph Tucker became very popular with all that he would speak with. He was cultured, had varied experience, many talents, integrity, and a character which all combined to make him a great contributor to Pittsfield society at the time. Now, those aren't my own words. Those came from page 468 of J.B. Beer's History of Berkshire County. Just to show you guys that I'm not making this up. Joseph Tucker married Elizabeth Bishop, a Lenox woman, on September 20th, 1876, and they had a great home together on East Housatonic Street, with welcome written on the doorpost, with his wife being a very beautiful woman, being very dignified in manner, Sadly, Elizabeth died just 4 years later on February 12, 1880, leaving no children in her place. Tucker died due to paralytic shock he sustained about a month before his death on November 28, 1907. Before his death, his final jobs were as president of the Pittsfield Street Railway Company and president of the Berkshire County Savings Bank, succeeding Judge Rockwell. The most blatant reason that Linden Street School was renamed to Joseph Tucker School was because before Pittsfield was a town yet, Judge Tucker was chosen to be a member of the school committee. And when Pittsfield became a city, he was nominated and then elected as a member of the school board, serving for many years as its chairman. As stated in the Berkshire Genealogist Indexing Committee's book, he was deeply interested in and loyally devoted to the Pittsfield schools and gave freely of his time and effort to their upbuilding. That was from People, Scenes, and Incidents of Past Days of Pittsfield, page 6. He was the chairman of Pittsfield School Committee for a period of 9 years ending in 1904 when he declined re-election. Now, you may be wondering why I didn't mention this earlier. Well, it's because there was so much more to Joseph Tucker. He and his family did so much for the Berkshires, such as protecting us from the law, fighting for the Union during the Civil War, and being such a sincere man towards everyone he met. To downgrade the reason for Joseph Tucker having a school named after him to just being part of the school committee would be an insult to the entire Tucker family, as he did so much for all of the Berkshires. Through all of the sources I read through, you can tell how devastated Pittsfield and its citizens were after Joseph Tucker had passed. All of these authors express what a wonderful man Joseph Tucker was to be around. He wasn't just another judge. He wasn't just another Civil War vet. He was Joseph Tucker, and nobody could argue with that. Joseph Tucker was a great man, and although some people may not remember him, and I hope that because of this video, more people will appreciate this man who did so much for our country, and more specifically for the Berkshires, and never forget who he was.